I'll squeeze niyyah. Shart al-khamis an-niyyah anwa'uhu. So this comes to the question that you guys were asking. And I'll mention the ikhtilaf in this. The Hanaf and the Hanbalis are strict on this particular. So at least you should be aware whether you follow it or not. So anwa'uha niyyah al-mu'ayyana. So i.e. every time you pray, you're going to make a niyyah, Isha or Maghrib, you're having a very particular niyyah of what you're going to pray. So what difference is between somebody who's praying a sunnah and maybe you're still praying your fard, maybe you came late, is your niyyah, because you're maybe praying the same way and maybe he's praying two, or maybe you're praying fajr and he's praying the sunnah fajr. So what differentiates is the niyyah. Niyyatul imama wal i'timam. So this is where the ikhtilaf. So the one who's going to lead should have a niyyah that he's going to lead the prayer. The one who's going to follow will have a niyyah that he's going to follow the imam. So the Ahnaf and the Hanbalis will tell you they will not allow, let's say, if somebody already prayed Isha, why the others have a good kind of case forward. Let's say if I prayed Isha somewhere and I go home and I tell my family, and if they haven't prayed, I tell them, okay, I'm going to lead the prayer. You guys pray behind me. The Hanaf and the Hanbalis won't allow this, because now my niyyah is different from the niyyah of the jama'ah behind. The ones that actually allow it, there was a Sahabi that used to pray with the Prophet ﷺ, and then he would go back to his people and he would lead his people in prayer. So this is the one where the others have a good case, where, listen, he already had a different niyyah, and in terms of even the prayer that he's praying, he was praying a different prayer in and of itself. So this is where they have a strong case. The ones who actually oppose it say, no, this is an exception and you cannot take the exception as a rule. But this is the ikhtilaf. The Ahnaf and the Hanafis, the Hanbalis are strict. The one who's basically, you should have the same niyyah for the one in terms of this person's going to lead. Let's say, I don't know if they do this here, but let's say I prayed late. I came late. On the last rak'ah, I get up, right? Sometimes a brother might come and touch me and he will pray behind you. So this, the Hanaf and because you started with an intention that you're actually going to follow. And now you're changing your intention from a follower to a leader in the prayer. This is what they're strict on. If you notice a lot of the Hanaf, they won't respond to you.
But we have to have an intention to lead or follow.
You need to have an intention. Like I said, if you have an intention, you're going to pray Maghrib, and then after that, this is the ikhtilaf that I mentioned, in terms of like.
The one scenario that I was speaking about, which is that mom loses worse. Now, this
this.
There is an exception.
There are exceptions to this. That comes later on, right? Maybe we'll cover that. In case if it doesn't come, we'll cover it again. But generally, the Hanbalis and Hanaf are very strict on this, that if you had an intention to follow, don't lead. I.e., if somebody comes behind, or if you had an intention to pray sunnah and this person randomly touches you, don't lead him in the salah. So this is where the ikhtilaf is.
So after I make my salam and I see him continuing the prayer,
let him do whatever he wants to do, because maybe he has a fiqh position that he's firm with, but you will have a different. I'm just telling you why the others take this position, because they say innamal a'malu binniyat, actions are judged by intention, and if you started with, you're changing the intention in your fard from like a one who was following to somebody who was leading. So you're changing, and this is where the ikhtilaf is. Generally, the ones who are strict are the Hanbalis, and that's why I honestly don't like to give two khutbahs in the same masjid. Now you're just opening doors of fitna, because sometimes they actually even announce it. This is a very, very bad idea to do, because you could be upsetting maybe half the population that's praying.
Does this apply to just giving the salat, or even the khutbah itself?
Anybody can give the khutbah. So even the imam who gave the khutbah could give the khutbah again, but let somebody else lead the prayer. That's it. So in that way, you're avoiding the khilaf. So you'll be a little safe.
So with these kind of situations, in the time of the Prophet don't we have any?
There is a narration. So Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he started praying, and people started indicating that the Prophet has arrived. And then he stepped back And the Prophet ﷺ insisted to, like, he indicated to stay, but he still stepped back, and then the Prophet ﷺ led. This is again a strong evidence for obviously the ones who are not taking this position.
Interesting.
Yes, there's so now you're asking, I'm
And
expanding.
so it's say, oh, it's the prophet. It's an exception for the prophet. You know,
These are really into that part and all the other stuff comes beyond.
So now the problem is, do you, people may always say, are you going to lead the Prophet? The only one who actually, I think, is Abdurrahman ibn Auf. The only Sahabi who actually led the Prophet ﷺ in prayer is Abdurrahman ibn Auf. Because he came late and then he was leading the prayer at that point.